Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Joseph. So I've been requested by Mert Balciolo, if I said that right, I hope I'm not butchering it, to do an updated version of the shooting system that I created a couple of weeks ago. First of all, I still can tell you I'm not a fan of the new version of Gamemaker. This took more stuffing around than I thought it was going to, but I also overhauled the system so it would be better. Which means, yes, it's going to be more complex, but I'm going to run you guys through what I did. So, first things first, you guys can see I've got a bunch of sprites. Oh, and before I forget, I'll actually put a copy of this up so you guys can access it and actually break down what I've done. And I'm going to apologize in advance if this is a bit advanced. Let me know if it is in the comments. So, what I've got here is the standard sprite player. I've got an object, or I've got two bullet objects. I've got the thumbstick, I've got the thumb base, and an A and B key. So, first things first, we've got our standard joystick. I've not made any major changes except added in this line of code, just so the direction gets passed over to the player. Just makes my life easier. So, again, pretty stock standard stuff. You guys have seen this 100 times now. Under the draw function, again, you can see I've got my redundant sets, stuff like that. Pretty straightforward. As you can see, this is older code because I haven't actually cleaned up the screen reses out of it. But for the purpose of this video, it doesn't matter. So, here, we've got a button, which just has the stock standard. Again, you guys would have seen this before. It just runs the set to check which key is being pressed. And under the draw function, again, it's the same. Now, we've got the bullet objects. Oop, and I forgot to put some code in one of the bullet objects. Let me quickly rectify that. So under the bullet object, there's only two functions, bullet time and bullet time to live. Now, I'm pretty sure I've used both of them. And that's just my way of getting around. I couldn't work out how to activate the alarm for some reason. And just wasn't doing it, so that's my workaround. Pretty simple stuff. I just programmed the solution. And again, that is actually important because you don't want objects to fly around in your room forever, because it does take up resources. Okay, so we've got our two bullet objects, and we've got our player. Before I show you the player's program, I'm going to show you what it does, because I don't want you guys to be put off about the complexity. So one, that's pretty stock standard, nothing different there. But if I hit the A key, you'll see my player shoots. And if I hit the B key, my player will shoot a different bullet. So there's a little bit of game engineering going behind here. So as you can see, if I change bullets, I have to reload. And if I change again, I actually have to reload again. So what's going on here and how does it work? So, be prepared, because this will be a tad bit complicated, but it will make sense. So, I've put a lot of commenting in here to make it make sense. So, in the player object, we've got friction, which just sets the player's friction, just so when you stop moving, he stops moving. The first set of functions are the bullet system, so this is the selector, so this dictates which bullet should be selected. This is the ammo count, which tells you, or tells the object how many bullets it has available to shoot. Bullet reload time, which tells the system how long it takes to reload. The var shoot is actually the shoot button, because it's actually decoupled from the actual button function. I'll explain why in a moment. The next is the shoot delay, which is again important, because that then tells it, instead of instantly activating every second, it's got a slight delay to it, and we can tailor that to what we want. Then we've got the change bullet functions, the change bullet delay. Again, the same principle. Because it always operates as an instant execute, we have to delay it. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are used to dealing with arrays. Arrays are really your friend in this. I hated them to begin with, but they make a lot of sense. So here, all an array is, it's just a bucket with a bucket of values. And I can use different names for different values. The power of this is I can store things like an object, name inside an ID, and call on it later, and I'll show you how that works. The next is the bullet, like the speed. I can modify the speed. So if I want this bullet to shoot faster, this is the first primary bullet, this is the big bullet. I can change that value. If I want to change the time to live, I can change it. If I want to change the ammo capacity, I can change it. If I want to change the reload timer, I can change it. If I want to change the shoot error, so that's the inconsistency on direction, so that's where it adds a little bit of variation to the direction it travels. If I want to do the same to the speed error, if I want to change the delay of the bullet, so if I wanted to make this bullet shoot, let's say every 20 instead of every 5, so this is calculated in steps, I can do that. So if I do this, you can see now the bullet shoots a lot slower. If I want to speed it up, I can. If I want to make it shoot every 2, you'll see that it's actually going to increase that speed quite significantly. Like so. So it's going to burn through my ammo a lot quicker. So, and then for example, the repeat actually lets me set it up. So if I wanted, let's take a battle rifle or something like that, and let's make a battle rifle. I can do something like this. So what this tells the system to do is it sets a shoot delay, and it basically says repeat itself 3 times. So it'll shoot 3 bullets, delay for 6 seconds. So if I do that, and you can see there, when I shoot once, I get 3 bullets. So obviously you can play around and change how you want the system to behave. It's quite powerful. Yes, it is complex, but you can see there it's quite good. So, and again, I've got my big bullet here, which is more, I was thinking shotgun is the idea. So that's pretty straightforward. The next part here, we're going to go under the step event. And this is where things are going to get screwy in the politest of senses. So this whole system is stock standard. It's not super hard to wrap your head around. It looks confusing, but it's not. So the first part is the start the shooting system. So what this does is it just checks the keyboard. I've just bound the keyboard to this for my own convenience. If you were setting this up for mobile, you would just use this function. This is just for my own convenience. These 2 lines indicate OR. So that's no different from writing OR. They're the same execution, they're just 2 different ways of representing it. So you'll see here, I start getting into the bullet counters and that. So you'll see here I've got the ammo count, which I checked to be 0, and then I also checked to make sure it can shoot. Shoot's been set to 1. So it just trails down, it creates a temp ID, then it checks to see if it's got a shoot delay applied. If it's got a shoot delay, it will then wait until that's resolved, which is down here. So it basically scrolls down, make sure that the shoot is delayed and that it's able to actually function. So you'll see that that's actually outside of this set. So it means that if you shoot once and then release the key, it resolves and ready to shoot again, instead of waiting for the key to be pressed. In here is where it gets a little bit more complicated. It's not so... the only reason it looks complicated is everything's stored in arrays. So basically, this is an array. This sets and basically lets you change which bullet set you're using. And then running down the total here, so you've got my ID, for example, here. And you can see instance, and I'm creating depth minus 999. That's just the depth in the room. I don't know why they changed that. It was perfectly fine the other way. Then I reference my bullet array, and then my bullet select. So if I come back here, that's this function, and then this is just being dictated by the selector. So I can select 1 or 2, or 0 and 1 actually in array language. So that's all this really is. So the speed is just the bullet speed, and if I scroll over, you'll see it's just a random function. Ooh. A random function plus minus a random function with the speed errors attached. And the same with the bullet speed is again the same principle. Oh, sorry, that was speed and that was direction. And then underneath that is just the bullet time to live. So then it basically takes 1 from ammo count. It then resets to shoot again. And then it adds a shoot delay. So then this way it can't just immediately shoot the next bullet, which then comes back up to this system. It goes through the resolve, so when it has to reload, this is the resolution to the reloading system, as you can see, very straightforward. That's the reset delay, and then this is the changing of the bullet. So you can see here, when I change the bullet, it just checks the reference, and then it checks to make sure the change delay is resolved, which is out here. So that's just the resolve there. And then basically when it goes through, it just resets all the values. So this is the overhaul. I've tried to make this as painless as possible. This took me about 2.5 hours to get up and running correctly the way I wanted it to. And yeah, I have to thank you guys again for watching. So you can see here, just a quick side note, see how that's so quick? Let's slow that, sorry, let's slow down the bullet just real quick, because I'm not happy with that. So here, under the speed, we can make that a bit slower, and we can increase the time to live. So I'm actually going to increase it to 60. I realize now why it wasn't working before, because I hadn't put in the proper sets. So if I do that, change my bullet. Oops, still reloading. There we go. So you can see it's like a shotgun. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helps you guys. I'll provide a link in the description to access this. If you've got any questions, let me know. If you want to see other stuff, let me know. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Gamemaker Studio 2, but if you want to see something in it, let me know. It might take me a bit longer to create, though. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.